Hey y'all, we're back again today. Thank y'all for taking the time to watch. So we will get right into our devotion today. I know that sometimes it's easier just to listen to a video or watch a video than it is to read, and that's what we're doing here. So we're going to start in Exodus chapter 14, verse 14. And y'all, today's title is He's Got This. He has got it. Whatever you're going through, whatever is consuming your thoughts, your prayers, the whole deal, He's got it. So let's talk about that today. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. And, the hardest part about following God is when you get something that's just too much to deal with. His word says his grace is sufficient. If he brings you to something and he expects you to walk through it, he will give you everything you need. But what about when we have done all we can do? We have exhausted every effort, every resource. We have prayed and cried and went on, and we have come to a place where we realize there is nothing else we can do. And y'all, that is when God can step in. Now, if we go beyond that point, we'll start to get frustrated because, listen, we can't do what he can do. He won't do our part. I listen to Joyce Meyer sometimes, and she says this all the time. God will not do our part, and we can't do his part. And that is like some golden advice right there, because in all honesty, if you look through every promise in the Bible, every time something has happened, God has said, you need to do this. This is what you do, and this will be the end result. And just like in anything else, if we do everything that we are supposed to do, then we hand it off and we trust God with it. And that, honestly, I think that is the part we have the most trouble with, because we always feel like there's something else we can do. There's got to be something. There's got to be something. And as I was going over the devotion and I was praying and I was thinking about it, I got to thinking about when my little girl was a toddler. And she's 11 now, but holy moly, that is my handful right there. I love her to death. She's a handful. But she wanted to do everything herself. And she's still like that. But she wanted to do everything herself. And she would do everything she could. And she would get to the point where, like, putting on her shoes, that's what I keep saying, is her putting on her shoes. And she would get so frustrated because she was doing the right thing. She was putting her shoes on. She was getting ready to go. But she was trying to put the shoe on the wrong foot. And she was getting mad. She always had little chubby feet. So if it was not the right foot, it was not going in right. And it wasn't going in at all. And she would get so mad. And she'd start screaming and flailing her foot on the floor and throwing her shoes. And I would come along and I would take that same shoe and I would put it on the right foot, and it would go on just like it was supposed to. No muss, no fuss. And that is, like, to me, thinking about this, that is what we're like with God. We have a problem, and we're presented with it. And we've got all the things, and we keep trying to do it and do it and do it. And we just get frustrated because we're doing what only he can do. And, we're never going to learn how to do what he does, like my daughter learned how to put her shoe on the right foot. But the frustration in doing something like that I needed to help with, the things that he needs to help us with, and he's going to take care of all of it. We have to learn to let it go. And I think if you're at that point where you're willing to give it to God, but you're like, how do I know when I need to do that? That when you're frustrated, when you find yourself completely frustrated, because sometimes I will get frustrated, and then something says, wait a minute, you're getting frustrated. That means you have went beyond what you can do, and you're stepping into his territory, and he's not going to push you out the way. He's not going to say, hey, he's going to say, all right, I'm standing here and I'm waiting. Just like when your kids are trying to do something and they're like, no, I got it. And you're just like, okay, I'm right here when you want my help. But I'm not going to fight with you. And that's, just like we are with our kid. We're his children, and he does the same thing. He's like, all right, I'm right here if you need me, but I'm not going to fight with you about it. And frustration. Frustration is the light bulb that should say, hey, wait a minute. I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. So I want us to think about that today. And the scriptures that are in this devotional today, y'all, please, the link is in the description. Take the time to go and read it. I know it's easier to listen and watch because you can do it while you're driving, you can do it while you're doing dishes or whatever it is you're doing. It's really easy. But when you get a minute, open God's word and look at these scriptures. Let them speak to you, because we've all got stuff going on. We do. And it's hard for us to recognize when we need to stop, when we need to say, God, I trust you. And when we recognize the frustration, when we hand it over to God and we get to that hardest part where we have to let go and let him take care of it, we have to remember, sometimes it looks like nothing's happening. Sometimes it looks like it's getting worse. And to me, when something starts getting worse, like if I'm praying about something and it starts getting worse and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is kind of a cue for me, like God's doing something. Especially when you're dealing with other people and like what they're doing is getting worse and worse and worse. Their behavior's getting worse. There's fighting that's getting worse. And you've been praying about this thing. God's working. God is dealing with some people about some things. He's moving some situations around. Think about it like if you bought a brand new, beautiful house. I'm talking about free, clear, paid for, beautiful, beautiful house. And you're trying to get furniture in that house. And you're trying to get a whole family moved in that house. And you're trying to get it just right. You don't want to bang the walls with furniture. You don't want to scratch the floors with furniture. You don't want any stray animals getting in or out. You want to do it by a certain time. Everything needs to be particular, and that is a lot of work. And you get kind of crazy, and a lot is going on. When God's working, the same thing's happening. Things are moving. Things are shifting. They're trying not to bang the walls and mess stuff up. I mean, there is a lot going on. But when it is over, when you're moved in that new house and you can begin to live your life, in the answer to that prayer, in the blessing, whatever it is, it's calm. But right before it is a little crazy. So just hang in there. Keep trusting God. But listen, like I said before, he's not going to fight you for it. You got to let it go. You got to give it to him and say, all right, it's yours. And I know it's easier said than done, but every time you think about trying to take that thing back from him, just start thanking him for taking care of it. Don't question what he's doing. Because, like I said yesterday, his ways are way better than our ways. He knows everything that we don't know. Hang in there. I love y'all. The Lord loves y'all. Everybody have a great day, and I'll see you next time.